Been a while. Gotta
Right?
ease into it.
Definitely gotten a little rusty this year.
I wonder if during the playoffs we'll get a little bit sharper, since we'll be potentially watching actual good basketball on a night-to-night basis.
Right.
Might stay a bit more engaged in a given game.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
I got my sweet journey back with them. String it on.
That train is off the track.
Who doesn't love the bouncy castle?
Hitler.
Just prepare to... yeah, so just prepare to be awash in undebeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You are listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. This is episode 812, coming to you from the high school home of Jamison Brewer, Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm the doctor, Jason Triplett. This show, we're discussing a 1-3 week of basketball for the Pacers, including games against Minnesota, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, and Detroit. Joining me this week are two of our three analysts, coast to coast like buttered toast. First from Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks and the crappy jingles. It's John Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What's up, gentlemen? Here's to meeting our goals. Hashtag tank goals. Nailed it.
Cheers to that. And from Tacoma, Washington, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, fellas? Been a while. Good to see you guys. Quick shout out to Anthropic for not unleashing hell upon us last week. Thanks, guys.
Much appreciated.
Very appreciated.
Right. Before we start the show, just want to remind listeners they can support the longest running Pacers podcast by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables, and you can support our show for as little as $1 a month. All right. 4 games this week. Sorry. Already screwing up. Tuesday, Pacers hosted the Minnesota Timberwolves. They lose this one 124-104. Let's see. Io DeSumo led the way for all scorers with 24. Pacers were led by a cadre of 6 folks in double figures. Ethan Thompson leading the way with 17 points. All right. Game 2. Pacers travel to Brooklyn in not quite the Super Bowl of tanking, which occurred, when was that, Friday night when the Jazz played the Grizzlies. This was like the consolation Super Bowl of tanking. And the Pacers win this one. I mean, they lose, but they win. 123-94. Obi Toppin just went bananas. 26 points in 18 minutes. Dunks galore. 9 rebounds. Micah Potter was also grabbing a bunch of rebounds. 18 points and 14 rebounds for him. And Jarris Walker getting his shine on. 14 points, 9 boards, 8 assists, 2 steals, and a block. That's the kind of stuff we like to see. And then Friday, Pacers host the Philadelphia 76ers, and they lose this one 105-94. Tyrese Maxey leads the way for Philly with 32. The Pacers are led by Jarris Walker in this game, 17 points. 16 from Quentin Jackson, 15 from Ethan Thompson. And then today, in game 82 of the season, the Pacers host the Detroit Pistons. And they lose this one 133-121. Paul Reed just got wide open dunks all game. Went 11 for 11 on his way to 26 points in only 21 minutes, 22 minutes, I guess. And then the Pacers, 2 guys with 21, Toppin, who went 7 of 11 from three-point range, and Quentin Jackson also chipped in 21, and Kobe Brown chipped in 20. So that concludes the tanking season for the Indiana Pacers, who end up with their franchise worst record, 19 wins and 63 losses that we all watched this year. Takeaways from this
yourself.
week, Colson?
Yeah, glad it's over. I got a little nervous when we won that Brooklyn game. I had said on the last show that the Pacers had the tiebreaker over Sacramento and Jazz, as in we didn't have the tiebreaker and we would lose. But I found out later this week, after saying that so confidently, that the tiebreakers don't work the same in the lottery as they do when you're going to the playoffs. If you have the exact same score as another bad team, they just flip a coin to decide your lottery position. And so
Science.
I had this terrifying fear that we were going to somehow, after we lost to the, after we beat the Brooklyn Nets, that we would somehow catch Sacramento or the Jazz, and luckily they both won this last game. But for a second, I was real worried, and that we were going to somehow flip a coin and end up with the fifth worst record. So we ended up with the second worst record, which was the bottom 3, which was the goal. We have the best odds, along with Brooklyn and the Wizards at that top spot. And the best odds at the top 4 spots, which is what we need, or otherwise we lose our draft pick to the Clippers. So we've done our part. We've done everything we can. As you said, the worst record in franchise history to try to get a top 4 draft pick here. And man, we put in the work. I'll tell you what.
Boy, howdy, my friend. Boy, did we. We finished 41 games out of first place. An entire half a season of games out of
nice.
first.
That might have been my preseason win prediction for us.
Yeah,
I think it
that's
was,
exactly
yeah.
right. I think we were all right around that range. Was not to be. Silver linings, I mean, from this week, it's good to see Obi Toppin getting back into form, especially getting that shooting form back. He looks comfortable, looks like himself. And like we have been saying, Jarris Walker, I think, has made some real steps towards being a professional basketball player in this league. And, yeah, that's about all you can say.
I mean, I thought Obi Toppin was the player of the week. He was the player of the 2 weeks. I mean, he's been fantastic. You mentioned him specifically in that Brooklyn game. They fielded their tallest guy was 6'8". Their next 3 tallest guys were 6'6". So it's like they just had no size, and so they just put Obi Toppin in the dunker spot, and that's what he just did. He just dunked over and over again. Also, Jay Huff and Micah Potter also have brilliant games. Yeah, and then of course in this last game, hitting 7 threes. Obi Toppin's amazing. He's great. We really missed him all season. It's nice to have him back. It seems like he's ready to be that really important 6th, 7th man again for us next season. So that is good.
Yeah. I mean, if he's just going to be 7 of 11 every night from 3-point land for us, yeah, I like you.
Yeah.
The other thing too is I think that maybe Jay Huff and Micah Potter both maybe end up with like positions on the team. Like, do you think that they're the 2 backup centers? A lot of times you go into a season with 3 bigs. They both played well. Potter's rebounded really well. Got a nice low post game. Huff has shown he can shoot a 3 and block a shot. We clearly, wanted to shore up the center position and went out and got Zahn Tabak or whatever. Who'd we get? Zubas. There you go.
John Tabak. That was a callback.
Oh,
He's
boy.
He hasn't been on the team in a few years. But yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if these guys end up sticking with the roster. They both showed pretty well, I thought.
Certainly they did. I feel like, didn't we give one of these guys a 2-year deal?
They both have contracts next year.
But they're non-guaranteed.
I don't know.
I mean, if they already have contracts for next year, then yes, I like their chances of sticking on the team.
Okay, fair enough.
It's going to be hilarious if we end up paying a cut J Huff tax.
to stay away. Check this for us.
We got to use a stretch provision on Micah Potter.
Micah Potter has a club option for next year.
Okay, club option
next year, but J Huff is already under contract.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Jay seems like a gimme for sure. I don't know if you really go 3, but certainly Micah's done a great job.
I mean, I think you got to carry 3 bigs these days, but
well, especially when there's a Victor Wembanyama waiting for you in the finals. You need all those fouls,
and it's certainly.
I mean, Micah will be there if you need him later.
You pick him up on waivers right before the finals.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like he did show quite well this year. His numbers went up a fair amount compared to what he's done before. His 3-point shooting was particularly notable. He shot 42% from the range on 3.5 attempts a game. His scoring went up from he's scored about 4 points a game for Utah in 18 minutes last year, and scored almost 10 a game for the Pacers and 47 in 19 minutes a game this year. So yeah, I mean, I think that certainly these guys have the inside track, right, of who's going to be the backup, but there's a lot of things that can happen between now and then, especially if things, depending on what happens on May 10th, that's going to set a lot of balls in motion.
Sure. Yeah.
Ways.
Depends on what if you get a top 4 pick and who you end up with in those picks. There's guards and there's bigs, there's wings to be had all in 4 picks. So yeah, this team is pretty much all coming back. I mean, the entire roster's set. We, as you mentioned, we have the club option on Potter. We've got club option on Kobe Brown, Ben Shepherd, and Jarris Walker. I assume that Shepherd and Walker will be back for sure, and maybe Kobe, depending on again who we draft.
Yeah,
but everybody else is wrapped
Shepherd
up.
did not have the best season.
Yeah,
but yeah, I suspect you're right that we'll exercise it. But.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean the guys are locked up and hopefully will be healthy for next year. Was anybody else surprised that Siakam didn't play the last few games of the season to get him 65? Was the odds of him getting any sort of award too low because our team sucked? And he's just might as well rest.
That was kind of my thinking on it. And I mean, who knows? I mean, hopefully that was the reason and not a more serious, the injury was actually that bad situation. Yeah. But yeah, he put on, even though he only played 62 games this year, right, or whatever it was, he put in some work this year. So
Yeah,
He did.
fine to give his body a little bit of extra rest.
Yeah,
So he's no spring chicken anymore. So.
if something had happened to him in the last 3 games in the season that affected his ability to play next year, it just would have been heartbreaking for everyone. love the way that guy plays. I love his grit and determination. I think it was probably hard to get him to sit down.
Definitely
but
was.
I
Yeah.
am a fan.
There were a lot of stretches.
I am a big fan.
Where you know we were having him sit for a game or two, and you could tell he wasn't thrilled by it. But,
Does not like it.
yeah, he's 32 now. He by the way shares a birthday with me, so he moved up the top 25 when I found that out.
When you figured that out. Yep.
Nice. He's
Not the same year though, unfortunately. Surprising. But yeah, 32 is kind of on your, the end of your peak there. So in the NBA, so it doesn't mean he's going to fall off into obscurity right away, but yeah. He's moving into the veteran leadership phase over the next 4 years, right?
Sure. I
Sure.
suppose. But guys are playing longer
Sure.
and better than they ever have. And he's a guy who clearly has taken good care of his body throughout his career. So I expect him to be a high level performer for years to come.
Yeah, LeBron's like 50, right? And still playing? So.
Yeah. AARP has been in contact.
Yeah, and Siakam's game is not like overly reliant on his athleticism necessarily. I mean, maybe I'm underestimating him as an athlete, but like he's just kind of crafty with the way that he gets to his
Very
spots.
crafty.
And
He also falls over a lot, which makes me nervous the older you get.
he does.
I feel like every time he shoots a basket, he falls over.
He can take the falling down out of his game, I think. Just as long as he doesn't add a bunch of banging in the post, I'm happy.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So, excellent. Other, so in our annual tradition, we'll do our end of season NBA awards in our show on Thursday, and then try to get the whole gang back together to do our Undebeat Awards for the Pacers. Specific.
Yeah, we got to go back and remember like Garrison Matthews. You remember him? He was on the team.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah. And Mac McClung.
Mac
was there.
McClung?
Yeah, Gary
That's
Bird.
right.
Gary Bird, baby.
Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
Yeah.
Boy, this is what a team. What a team.
I saw Ray J. Dennis was on the bench of somebody that we played this week. Was it Brooklyn, maybe? He was too good to play.
Yeah, they brought him out to reverse scout us.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Like this guy always goes to his right, so force him to his right. Yeah. So that, I think, a good 10 minutes of that episode will just be reading the names of the 85 players that were on the roster this year.
You're the 50 eligible people for these awards.
Yeah, it's going to be a long he gone section this year.
Right. Yeah. Even though the roster is generally intact. Goodbye to so many. We'll just make a montage. One of those things that they do like at the Oscars.
Sure.
Yeah.
And in memoriam.
All the guys we lost this year.
For like 20 guys.
Shout out to Iron Man Jay Huff. Played all 82 games for us.
Wow.
Only
Nice.
guy on the roster. Yep. Played all 82. So, shout out.
You think he sees that as a slap in the face?
They're like, Ray J's too good. We got to sit him out. But Jay Huff, sure, whatever.
we couldn't afford to keep you off the floor in this year when we were trying to lose all of the games.
I hope he takes it as a source of pride. Good on you, Jay Huff.
As well he should.
Dear.
Indeed. But so all of that was a long-winded way of me asking if you guys had any, I don't know, like what did you take away from this season? Like, are you just going to we're gonna burn all the tapes of this and then never talk about it again? Or was there any moment that you will remember fondly from this season?
Harper, before you stopped watching games, did anything you took away from this one?
I mean, not from a basketball perspective particularly, but I mean, I was actually encouraged. Our management has always told us for years and years and years and years that this is a thing that we would just never do, no matter what, under any circumstances. And I was like, that's irrational, right? Like, that's just the wrong thing to do in certain situations. And so, we may still lose our draft pick. That's entirely possible. But at the very least, it put us in a position to get the guy that we think is the guy in Zubats or Jan Tabak or whoever we got.
I think some of our listeners weren't alive when Jan Tabak played.
No, definitely not.
Look him up, kids.
But we did a thing that we needed to do. It wasn't pretty. I'm hopeful that we can win a coin flip and change the trajectory of our franchise for 2 decades. Right? I mean, this is potentially a pretty big deal. So, as much as this season itself was not super fun, I mean, it was never gonna be super duper fun anyway. I mean, we were legitimately riddled with injuries anyway. So, I'm glad we did what we did.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose. I mean, I guess it could have gone the way of the Boston Celtics season, right? I mean, they were expected to be in a similar position and were in the second or third seed before their all-world guy came back. So
yes, but
yeah,
it could have been super fun in that direction.
Agreed, but not with the injuries that we had, right? I mean, there was
No.
And
Holly not presumably coming back given a slightly different timetable.
Correct.
And I wonder if we hadn't started out with those injuries in those first 6 weeks or 2 months, whether this does end up as a playoff team. Pascal certainly put in the work. I mean, and that's what I'll remember from the season, just him becoming the consummate pacer, and being a leader and just going in and playing in the trenches even though we were losing every night. And then the big swing on Zubats, right? I mean, if this works, if this pays off, if this guy fits in and becomes a dominant defensive presence for us, and we can win a lot of games with him at center, then this is an incredibly pivotal season for us, even though it won't be memorable as far as the wins and losses.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be memorable one way or the other. I mean, either we took a big swing and missed on a couple fronts.
Right. Because if he doesn't work out and we miss the draft pick, this is a disaster.
I mean, it'll not look super fun for sure. I mean, I don't think that we were headed for a deep playoff run either way.
Right, for sure.
It was nice. Yeah. It was nice to get some burn for the young guys, especially Jarris Walker. I mean, that's the other big takeaway. But, we would have needed Ben Shepherd to bring an awful lot to the table to have a great season this year. And that is not a thing that we got from Ben this year. But hopefully he'll be back to form next year. And, hopefully this is just, looks like a blip on the radar from a win-loss perspective. And we just, we walk away with somebody that we really like. 2 guys that we really like.
Right.
And we could split. I mean, who knows? But these are the biggest swings we've ever taken as a franchise.
I agree with that. This is definitely up there. And maybe you take those swings because Halliburton is so special. I mean, he makes the guys around him better. You can tell how important he is to the team when he's not there, right? I mean, and I love Andrew and Aaron in that starting lineup. I think they're fantastic pieces. But without Halliburton, they don't seem to be pieces that are gonna, win you 50 games. He brings the best out of these other guys, and if you believe that he's that good and we have a chance to win a championship, because just last season we were a half away, you might as well take the big swings. You might as well. Let's go for it.
You got to.
Yeah.
You don't want to turn Tyrese into Giannis Antetokounmpo by not doing enough.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the other thing that I'll remember is sort of that. I mean, the start of the season was bad, right? We started out like 1-13 or something like that, but like
when we were
if
at
you'll
least
remember
ostensibly trying.
yeah, and like we looked pretty good at times, like despite all the injuries, and like there were people just plugging in holes and working their tail off, and I'll remember that. Like before it, like kind of after the All-Star break, it just turned to like
it's just a slog.
blatant tanking,
Yeah.
and like just a slog. Yeah. I mean, there was that one sort of 19-game losing streak before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
That was bad.
And the league had already fined us for tanking before the All-Star break. But yeah, I'm with you.
True.
But yeah, no, I mean, we
did have that stretch where we won 4 out of 5.
Yeah, we did.
Like, oh yeah, okay. These guys can play.
where
ball.
we started the season going to double overtime with OKC. That felt
Yes.
pretty good. And then beating the Thunder in Oklahoma, that felt real good.
Mm-hmm.
We can
beating the Knicks in New York.
Yep, always
That was
felt good.
nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we beat the Bulls.
Beat the Bulls multiple times, so that felt good.
I mean, to me, that's a complete.
And
season.
Miami.
It's
I mean,
great.
screw those guys. God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we didn't
we
let
got that- we got-
Bam go for 83 on us.
That's right.
Suck it, Washington. Oh, sorry,
That's right.
Jason. I didn't see you there.
We
That's fine.
we swept the Bulls.
And we pulled off the double loss to the Wizards.
That was really hard
And,
to do.
That was hard to do,
But no, we only won 19 games and we won 4 of them against Chicago. That's impressive.
It's more than 20% roll in total. Fantastic.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Well, the other thing
All
that
right.
this season might be remembered for is an actual change to the draft odds going forward, because
Or something. Something will
Something
change.
is
yeah,
definitely
it does seem like people were especially frustrated by the level of tanking this year. It didn't feel like a real quantum shift to me, but there were maybe more teams than usual doing it because the incentives were especially high. But
Did you guys? So there was this. The Grizzlies played the Jazz on Friday in what Brian Windhorst termed the Super Bowl of tanking, and so like I think it was. If the Jazz lost that game, they dropped like 10 percentage points or something like that in their lottery odds, and the Grizzlies would have dropped like 7
my
or something like
goodness.
that. Or it might have been flipped around.
it's a lot.
And so they had like the Jazz had like 17 guys listed on the injury report. The Grizzlies had like 12, and then each of them like there were dudes that played all 48 minutes. 3 different guys had triple doubles in the game. 2 of them off the bench, which is like the first time that's ever happened. And let's see, who I don't forget who even won. I think the Jazz won.
Yeah, the Grizzlies are on a 7-game
it was,
losing streak, so yeah, the Jazz definitely won that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was nice. Nice artistry there.
Well, in general, I feel
Multiple
like
guys played
we
40 minutes.
we played hard. I mean, and I was really impressed with how the guys like continued to play our up-tempo offense, and I mean, there was definitely coaching going on during this stuff. It wasn't just a complete disaster. So I feel like the guys were
it's all about the growth mindset.
yeah, growth mindset for sure. Carlos talked about how he had to change his mindset, but we bought in, we made it happen, we got it, we're here, we've given ourselves the best chance, and that's, you're right, Harper, that's not something we would have done in the past, and if this works, it's great. If not, it's going to be a lot of losing for not a lot of good things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we don't. Yeah, I guess we'll know a lot on May 10th.
Yeah.
Basically. And then even after that, sort of the value of that pick brought in Zubats, regardless. And so there's
That's
a lot
true.
of TV.
That is true.
Yeah.
So.
And we're going to get a good pick. Like, it's very unlikely that we're going to end up with a terrible pick. Like, what's the lowest we can end up at? Like 8 or something?
But if we get 5th through 9th, that pick goes to the Clippers.
Yeah.
So it's 5 through 10, right? So then after that we get 10 through 30? I don't know. Yeah, is it 5 through 9?
I think we get 10 through 30.
So yeah.
And then and if we do get top 4, then it conveys to next year, right?
Correct. Yeah, the next year they get our first round.
But we can't physically get the 10th pick, right? Because we were the second worst record. We're guaranteed a top 6 pick.
It's top
Is that
6?
true?
I believe it's top 6.
I thought it was top 8, which is why it's a coin flip.
Okay. I think it's just the way the percentages are. Let's go to tankathon.com.
Pick odds, 6 is the lowest.
Okay.
So the 5 and 6 picks are 27.8 and 20.1 respectively.
That's so much. That's so high.
Gotcha.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, they're higher than any of the other picks.
Right.
So
yeah, it is a coin flip, right? 48%
Yes.
chance. I guess we have 52% chance to get 1 through 4. A little bit better than a coin flip.
52.1.
Okay.
Yep.
Boy, here's to coin flips.
Yeah.
But
So-
at least we didn't have to win 2 coin flips. We lost the right number of
That's
games.
That's a good point. Yeah, so playoff action starts next week, but for the Pacers, next important date, Sunday, May 10th. Halftime of whatever game they decide to do that. We will have a draft lottery. There's been calls for a live stream. Would you guys be up for a live?
I mean, it's probably going to be
the...
like massive drama. It might be worth it.
I mean, it would just it's a lot of I don't know. I could have.
I mean, if I have a complete
Yeah, I was going to say, one of us might die that day, so we should probably record.
live recording.
We should probably record it for posterity's sake.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, thank you, fans, for listening. Those of you that continue to listen throughout the season, we truly appreciate it. This was not an easy year, especially after how fun last year was. But thank you for listening. If you have thoughts, you can send them to us on Twitter. We are at Undebeatables. We have a Facebook page / The Undebeatables. You could email us, shoutout at theundebeatables.com. Our website, theundebeatables.com, has a contact form. You could send us a message through that. And while you're there, hop over to the store page and get yourself a Schmedium t-shirt.
For the architect, Donnie Walsh, and the Pacers' first couple, Nancy and Bobby Sick Leonard. Turn out the lights, the party's over.
Where do you think Slick would have landed on this?
Man, he does not like
He
tanking.
would have been all in, right?
No, he doesn't like tanking. He'd been so pissed.
But does he like Mbanza?
Right.
That's right. He probably would have accepted it if the whole franchise was behind it, I suppose.
I mean, at 1-13, it's hard to argue other paths.
That's true. That's true. Have you? Do you guys listen to the Zach Lowe podcast?
Not this
Apparently,
No.
one of the proposed anti-tanking ideas that got a little bit momentum is that there's like a point system, and it sounded pretty cool. So, like, let's say each team has 100 points, and it's draft capital, right? And you can trade points and that sort of thing. But you basically bid your points on different positions. So like there's no lottery at all. It's just like bidding for drafts, and you based on the draft capital you have, you can buy a draft pick essentially.
So you're telling me it's exactly like my
fantasy
draft?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, that sounds actually pretty cool. It got more
like you would bid on the position in the draft, or you would bid on individual players.
I think it's unclear to me. It was unclear. I think it might have been the position, but I don't know. Like you could spread it out. Like if you put all 100 on the one spot, but other people did too, then there would have to be a lottery among them or whatever. But yeah, if you thought you could get good value at the third spot, maybe you just put your chips on that. I don't know. It sounds kind of interesting. And also, I think there were ways to lose points. I think they could take points away if you were tanking, sort of something like that. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, it seemed like an interesting idea. They're just trying to get rid of the lottery because the lottery just encourages. There's no way for it not to encourage losing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it comes down to the fundamental question of if you want to, like, how important is parity for your league? Like, is it important that you redistribute talent to teams that are not so?
Well, the argument would be the Wizards get good picks and they're still bad. The Kings get good picks and they're still bad, right? Like, on some level, maybe you're just a bad franchise.
Right. But how is that franchise ever going to get it? I mean, no free agent would ever go there. In theory, if you changed your front office and have a chance to not suck, how would you go about doing that? You would need the lottery. You would need draft capital to do that.
Yeah, it's true. Just get savvy with your...
But also the Wizards should fire everyone. Yeah.
Hey, look, they got Anthony Davis and Trae Young and...
I said what I said.
And a high draft pick, and they're going to be great.
They're ready to take it over, baby.
We're going to be a Wizards podcast next year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, until then, go Pacers.
Go Pacers.